All right, what's up, guys? We got week 4 NFL player props coming at you. You got 3 on Underdog, 3 on PrizePicks. You're not going to want to miss. Coming off the win last week on PrizePicks, ended up hitting the 10x with the 3 plays I gave out, plus the promo for Patrick Mahomes. So we'll see what we can find this week. Let's get into it. All right, guys, before we get started real quick, let me show you what we hit last week. We hit Kyle Pitts under 42.5 receiving yards, Jaylen Warren over 13.5 rush attempts, and Najee Harris under 8.5 rush attempts. So might have got helped out by the injury there, but we'll take what we can get. And you can see I paired that with the promo. I had $10 left on the Patrick Mahomes over a half a yard promo. So ended up pairing that one with the 3-man I gave out for a 10x payout. So certainly don't want to miss that. That was last week. But also, too, we continue to hit NFL and MLB. So this was a play. I'm recording this Thursday morning, so this was Wednesday, the 24th. I hit I guess it paid out as a 3-man with a push over on PrizePicks for MLB with this Snell lightning bolt on his strikeouts. And then also, too, I hit a 3-man over on Underdog on Wednesday night for MLB. Just a 6x payout here with some MLB player props. So hop in the Discord, hop on the website, and you can find these picks too. I update them every day for all the sports. Right now we're doing NFL, MLB, and college football. Let's get started over on Underdog. We have a 3-man for you today. You can see I have the picks favorited there. So let's go ahead and get started with the first play. We're going Josh Allen over 23.5 rush yards. So that's one of those things. That's a kind of a low bar for him. The biggest concern here against the Saints is that the Bills just blow him out and he doesn't have to run. But I mean, they still have to build that lead. So I think Josh Allen, getting that 23.5, you can see he's hit it in 4 straight games dating back to last year's playoff game versus the Chiefs. So I really like this number for him. The Saints are running one of the fastest teams in the NFL. They're terrible, but they run plays like crazy. So the Bills should have the ball plenty in this matchup. If the Saints end up scoring, that's just icing on the cake here. Kind of force Allen to run a little bit more. You can see here. So even last week versus the Dolphins in that Thursday night game, he still hit 23.5 is a low bar for him. So I really like this play here. Hopping over to my website, you can see I have Josh Allen rated out here as a 69% win rate. I have the median rush yards about 35 yards. So that line there at 23.5 is looking good. All right, second play, we're going with Alvin Kamara over 13.5 rush attempts. I just don't understand this line at all. You can see so far this season, he's at 18 and 21, and that 18 was in a blowout loss against Seattle, and they still gave him 18 carries. So here against the Bills, I mean, nothing's going to change. Kendra Miller's not getting many carries. This really the entire backfield for the Saints right now. And like I mentioned with Josh Allen, the Saints are running a ton of plays. So yeah, even when the yards aren't there, like last week against Seattle, Kamara's going to get the ball. He's going to get touches. 13.5 is just a really low bar for rush attempts for Alvin Kamara. You can see here over on my site, got that one at a 68% win rate. I got him projected median projection of about 15, 16 carries. So 13.5 is a low bar. Like I said, they're going to have to feed them the ball here against the Bills. So even in a loss, we're not looking for yards. We just need attempts. So I really like that 13.5 number. All right, lastly on Underdog, we're going Dak Prescott over 237.5 pass yards. So obviously, he's not going to have CD for a few weeks. That is certainly a big hit to the Cowboys passing game. But you can see last week here against the Bears, he didn't have CD that game as well. Or, CD got hurt mid-game, and he still hit 251. The problem is this Cowboys defense is just so bad that the Cowboys are going to be trailing in every game they play in. Certainly here against the Packers, they're going to be trailing again. You can see here, the last 2 games for Dak, he's at 52 pass attempts against the Giants in that overtime game, and then 40 attempts last week against the Bears. So if this Cowboys defense keeps giving up points, it's going to force the Cowboys to pass. I understand there's no CD. Dak will, use Pickens, use who's ever available there. And I really like that spot for Dak. So, even in a loss, he can still get 237. We're actually hoping for, more resistance from the Packers. That continues for the Cowboys, and that they just have to keep slinging the ball around. So in summary, this is a 3-man for Underdog. We're going Josh Allen over 23.5 rush yards, Alvin Kamara over 13.5 rush attempts, and Dak Prescott over 237.5 pass yards. All right, hopping over to PrizePicks now. let's get locked in on our 3 plays over here. We're going to get started coming off that Dak passing yards pick over on Underdog. We're going George Pickens over 57.5 receiving yards. So I actually had this play over on Underdog as well, but it's actually at 58.5 on Underdog. So we'll take the extra yard. You never know. I've been cutting the line way too close too many times to give up a yard. So over on PrizePicks, we're going George Pickens over 57.5 receiving yards. I mean, it's just one of those things. He's all that's left. I mean, CD's out. We saw Jake Ferguson get a ton of work last week, but this is George Pickens' time to really step up as wide receiver 1 here in Dallas with CD out for a few weeks. So 57.5 is a really low number here. You can see last 2 weeks he's achieved that. 3 of the last 4. I guess that's going back to his Pittsburgh day there with the Ravens though. So coming off 2 straight 68-yard weeks, I expect nothing different here. One of those things. He's the last man standing, so Cowboys have to use him. You can see I got this rated out about a 70% win rate with George Pickens' projection coming in at about 80 yards on the projection. So like that there for George Pickens. All right, next up on PrizePicks, we're going Jordan Love over 227.5 pass yards. So, as much as I like Love, this has nothing to do with Jordan Love. This is 100% the Cowboys' pass defense. We've seen them give up 450 pass yards to the Giants a couple weeks ago. Caleb Williams torched them last week. I forget what his yards ended up. I know he had like 4 or 5 passing touchdowns. So this is just completely an indictment of the Cowboys' pass defense. It is absolutely atrocious right now. So that number for Jordan Love is just way too low, 227.5. You can see 2 weeks ago against the Commanders, he almost got 300 yards. And then last week the Browns, of course, have a good defense. So not surprised there that had a low output in that low scoring game. But I mean, this will be anything but that. Green Bay should be able to pass all over the Cowboys. So I really like this here for Jordan Love over 227.5 pass yards. So I got that at right here, 69% win rate. I got him projected about 250, just over 250 pass yards. So that's actually a better line than on Underdog. Underdog had him at 229. So we'll take that extra 2 yards as well over here on PrizePicks. All right, last one for us over on PrizePicks. We're going with Aaron Rodgers over 202.5 pass yards. So this is just a really low number here for Aaron Rodgers against the Vikings. So it's going to be 8:30 kickoff over in Ireland. You can see here last few games. So really low output versus Patriots last week, 139 yards. That was just a weird game. The Patriots dominated the game, but they fumbled. And I think they had 5 turnovers total with some red zone interceptions, and Ramondre fumbled at the goal line and just a bunch of random stuff. So the Steelers really didn't have the ball very much. You can see here against the Seahawks and the Jets 2 weeks before that. He did achieve this mark. So 202.5 pass yards. Really like this spot here. I expect, Rodgers to use DK plenty here in this spot against the Vikings. But also, too, you got Jalen Warren coming out of the backfield. I expect him, to have a fair share of receiving yards as well. So it's more just a low number here for a quarterback like Rodgers. Expect him, to get somewhere in the low to mid 200s for his total pass yards. So looking over to my page here, you can see I got this at a 68% win rate. I got Rodgers projected right now at about 235 pass yards. So that 202 is more just, that's a really low mark for, just for really any NFL quarterback, but especially someone at Rodgers' caliber. And 2 here against the Vikings, should be a competitive game. So expect them to be, passing back and forth. So, all right. So just to recap on PrizePicks, we got Aaron Rodgers over 202.5 pass yards, Jordan Love over 227.5 pass yards against the Cowboys. And also in that game, we got George Pickens over 57.5 receiving yards. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you can get on those picks before they move. Last week, we had a ton of line movement from when I made the video to when things started on Sunday. So get started. Jump on them as soon as you can. Also, if you have any questions, reach out to me on Twitter, on Discord, here in the comments on YouTube. I'd be happy to answer for you. If you're interested in getting more picks, feel free to look over at my website. Now, like I said, I got anything for MLB, college football, and NFL up. I got 3 free plays over there. Just the 3 plays on top of my board are always shown on that page. But also, too, if you want access to the full table, subscribe, join. Love to have you. Even if you don't want to do that, Discord's free. Feel free to hop in there. have great conversation, just fun hanging out, you know, enjoying these sweats, talking about the games. And so love to have you. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button for me. It really helps me out. And thanks, and I'll see you at the top.